Hey everyone, welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, and in this short two-part video series, we're going to be taking a look at items that sold on our Mercari platform in the months of July and August. And we will also be taking a look at some items that sold on Grailed and Citizen in part 2. I have been kind of behind on doing my what sold videos for the platforms other than eBay. So I just wanted to take a look back at the past few months and show you guys some of the highlights. I didn't pull every single sale. If I did, we'd be here all day. Mercari's not our highest selling platform as far as volume. eBay is number one and always has been, and I kind of have a feeling it always will be. We just do a lot more volume on eBay. I think it is a more well-known platform. It is more shopped. There are more eyeballs on it. However, we do well on our Poshmark. Mercari did really well in July and kind of slowed down in August, but then in August, our Poshmark picked up. And this is what I always try to tell people about the importance of cross-listing. Your platforms in general, online sales, are going to be like a roller coaster. You're going to have ups and downs. My mom used to call it feast or famine. You'll have times where things are great, like Q4, and then you got summer slowdown. You've got things going on with the economy and everything else. But I've always felt like not all of my platforms have ever been poop at the same time. I don't think we've been at the pinnacle peak at the same time on every single one. It always feels like one of them is slower, and then the other ones will pick up that slack. But I've never had a slow time of sales where everywhere was dry or everywhere was slow. It always feels like somebody somewhere, and by somebody I mean a platform, picks up that slack. And it's not just online sales. So yes, it is super important to not have all your eggs in one basket. You should absolutely have your items on several platforms, but you should have other streams of income as well. So you should absolutely be branching out. There's so many things out there now that we can do as online resellers and entrepreneurs. You can make short videos for TikTok, Instagram. Even if you're not camera friendly and you don't like to be on camera, you can do 20-second videos where your face is never on the camera and you're just showing what you're thrifting and what you're working on that day. That's like a whole nother topic for a whole nother video, but I need to stress that importance to you guys, that you're not just selling on eBay and that's your only stream of income. You should be on multiple platforms and you should have other streams. Now, don't jump in full throttle into everything. Do one platform, get really good at it, add a second platform. Get really good at that. Know the policies, know the shipping policies, the rules, the regulations, know the platform in and out, be an expert on it, and then add a third one and become an expert at that. And as far as the other streams of income, it just requires research. Do your due diligence. I might do some videos on some other streams of income. I talk about cross-posting all the time, but I don't often talk so much about the affiliations and creating content and videos and such. Also, this is where I have to plug List Perfectly. So if you're not using List Perfectly to cross-post, you should be. It's not just a cross-posting service. It is an inventory management system. There is so much that you can do with List Perfectly that people are just not aware of. I have an entire playlist on this channel for List Perfectly that shows you all of the tips and tricks. And that is also going to be getting updated videos and new content coming soon. And there's a lot of new stuff coming out soon from List Perfectly. Mum's the word, but I will keep you guys up to date in that playlist. If you want to try List Perfectly, you can get 30% off your first month using code FLIPPINHIPPOS. If you already use List Perfectly and you want to upgrade and try a subscription level above what you're trying or using now, Flippin' Hippos will get you 30% off of that as well. If you're using the business subscription now, which is the mid-grade one, and you want to try Pro Plan, which is the best and allows you to do the most, you can use our code FLIPPINHIPPOS, get 30% off your first month. Pro will cost the same as the business. And then you'll see what you're missing out on. It comes out to like $2 a day. It is so worth it. All right, that being said, let's get into what sold. So we're going to look at the highlights from July on just the Mercari platform in this video in part 1. Part 2 will have highlights from our August sales on the Mercari platform, and then I pulled out some highlights from Grailed and Kitizen as well. In the second video, I'm going to jump right into the sales. I'm not going to do the talk about cross-posting, so I always recommend you watch both videos. I'll mention that in the second one. But make sure you watch both so you can see the types of items, the brands that we're moving on these different platforms, and the prices that we can ask for them. Super important. Let's start with the Plush, because they're my favorite. We sold this Disneyland Walt Disney Resort Fantasia Mickey Mouse for $12. You would think because he's an official Disneyland Walt Disney World and he's the Fantasia Mickey, that he would have sold for a little bit more. However, number one, ours did not play music or talk. So you can see he's got a squishy thing on his hand, the little push button. He should have done some stuff. I don't even know what stuff he should have done. I just know he didn't work. Once I knew he didn't work, I didn't really research too much into what he should have been singing or talking, because I just say that he doesn't work anymore, and then I knocked down the price accordingly. So this could have been maybe a $20 plush if it were in working order, but also keep in mind that Mickey Mouse is oversaturated, and unless you have something super special, 12 to 20 is probably basic prices depending on what you have. Also look for the parks in the Disney store, because those are going to go for a little bit more money than like the Hasbros and the Mattels and things like that. So we only sold the one plush on Mercari in July, but we had a lot of good sales. Starting with this Pendleton Western shirt. So this has a lot of things going for it, which is why it sold for $41. I had it up for $45. I offered 10% off to the buyer. I always price a little bit on the high end, so I have room to do those 10% off offers. This is a Pendleton, number 1, that has that going for it. It is a pearl snap, and it is virgin wool. So this shirt is like, hi, I'm the best shirt ever. I am a good brand. I am a good material, and I am a style that men like. So we found this. I don't even honestly remember, not that I'm trying to hide, like when I don't want to reveal my sources, I always say a local thrift store or our secret little honeypot. I don't remember the name of this one. So maybe a month ago, a month ago, Keith and I went exploring, and we basically looked up on Google Map just thrift stores within an hour in every direction, and we went on an adventure one day. We got up early and thrifted, stopped for lunch, and thrifted our way home, and we hit a lot of places. I do remember this store in particular, though, because it was very small. I believe it was run by a church, so it was pure charity, and Keith found a slew, like 8 Pendletons all together on the rack. Some were wool, some were pearl snap, some were just button up. There were a lot, and they were not expensive at all. They were like $2 a piece. So I think I'm going to go on an adventure this coming week or the next week and try to find that place again and see what I can get. But that is a nice Pendleton shirt. Pendleton's a good brand. Wool's good. Pearl snaps are good. So this one sold for $41. Mickey, by the way, was $1. He came in a lot. Next up, we have a McDonald's apparel shirt. I tell you guys all the time, the McDonald's, the Starbucks, the Chick-fil-A's, any of these uniform shirts, they typically do really well. Some go for a lot more money, but they all sell really fast. They all have a quick return on your investment. This one sold for $18 because we took an offer of 10% off. And this was like $2 or $2.49 maybe, half off at Salvation Army. Here's a U.S. Polo Association. I believe that's what the ASSN stands for. I typically don't pick up this brand, but this one was new with tags, and it was a 2XL. So it was a big size, and it was new, had tags. It was like $2, maybe $2.49, half off day. It sold for $20 because, again, we did a 10% off offer. Big Star Nico jeans. So Big Star jeans used to be like my holy grail, second only to silver. I used to sell Big Star for $50. You know where I'm going with this, right? Longtime viewers, you know that at least once in every single video, I have to say, stop racing to the bottom. There is no reason for all of us to be undercutting each other and just destroying the market. I have seen so many brands over the years just plummet and be selling for half of what they used to because people can't be patient. They can't listen. If you don't have the patience to wait for your stuff to sell at the value it should sell at, maybe you shouldn't be reselling. Hashtag tough love. But if you're that desperate for money, go drive an Uber or something. Seriously, you're just, when you are participating in that race to the bottom and being one of those turds, you're making me start these Big Star jeans at 40, knowing I'm going to take a 36, 32, whatever dollar offer. And I used to sell these for 50. That is my once time I'm going to mention that in this video, but I have to mention it all the time anymore because it's really getting frustrating and I don't think people are listening. Stop lowering your prices. The Goodwills, the Salvation Armies, the thrift stores, they are all raising their prices. Our cost of goods are going up. We are in the recession. The cost of everything is going up. Stop lowering your prices. Make this your part-time job if you need money that desperately and go do something else. Tough love. Okay, so these Big Stars, I probably paid about $5, half off. I love Big Stars. I will still source them. I love them, especially the ones with names like Nico, because they definitely have people who look for these. They never take long to sell. These sold for $32 on an offer. Next up, we have some chef pants. So speaking of uniforms, you know, the McDonald's, the Starbucks, and all that I mentioned, those do well. But they don't have to be like a certain restaurant. These checkered chef pants, the white and black like snap button chef coats, all of that does really well. Depending on the brand, of course, you're going to get some pants that sell for 18 like these, and we've had some that have sold for 50. Just depends on the brand, but they all sell pretty quick. They don't take long. And actually, this fashion seal is like a super duper generic, like more poopy than Walmart, but I will always pick up their uniforms because they sell quickly. I got these for like $1. They sold within a couple of weeks for $18. Quick return on your investment. Next up, we have a Cider men's button front shirt. This is a collar block paisley, new with tags. It came in a wholesale lot. I've never heard of Cider before. I've never even seen it in the wild. This is the one and only experience I've ever had with this brand. It was in a box of men's shirts that we got all $1 a piece in that lot. But I wanted you to look at the keyword color block. So whenever you have clothes with these huge blocks of color, you can use the keyword color block. And it's super important if you have like vintage 80s or 90s with those big puffy coats with the blocks of color on them. That is a good keyword for folks that are looking for those types of items. Color block was common in the vintage 80s, 90s clothing. And then, of course, I put paisley because they're color block paisleys. Pretty cool shirt overall. Next up, we have this two-piece American Eagle short set. Now, this came in a wholesale lot, and in that lot, each item was $1, averaged out. But they had these two together, so the two-piece was $1, one piece considered. I thought it was going to be a hard sell because the top is extra large and the bottoms were a large because of the two different sizes, but I decided to try and list them together. They had a lot of interest. Like the first week, these went up on Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. There were lots of likes. There were lots of offers far below what I wanted to take, so I would just counter each time. And then it sold for $22, which was my full asking price on the set, and it took 2 weeks. So I held out, and I know that a lot of folks love that race to the bottom, those fast nickels, but I only had to hold out for 2 weeks, sold for $22. There was a ton of interest in it, so I was willing to do that. Again, I thought it would be hard or take longer because of the difference in the size, but then I thought about it. Some women tend to be bigger on the top than the bottom just because we have boobies. So I was happy to sell them together. They were also new with tags, and it was a good price for us, $1 for the two-piece set. Sold for $22. and they didn't weigh more than a pound altogether, so they shipped in a padded flat. Next up, we have a Columbia PFG vintage fishing shirt. Y'all know we love our vintage fishing shirts. Second only to Pearl Snaps. Are there better brands and higher end dollar things out there in bolos? Yes, but those are few and far between. We find these vintage fishing shirts by the slew, by the handfuls, all the time. This one sold for $20 on a best offer, and they sell fast. They sell like hotcakes. They are really, really good return on your investment if you're looking for that fast flip. Next up, I want to show you a couple remotes. You guys know that we buy our remotes bulk. We pay 25 cents a pound, so we list everything that works out of our lots. But if you're buying remotes one-off, like if you're at a thrift or a church sale or a rummage sale, sometimes they have like those Rubbermaid totes full of just electronics or remotes all tossed in. You're paying like a quarter, maybe 50 cents or $1 a remote. So you want to be a little more picky. So I do try to show you guys some specialty remotes that you can be keeping your eyes out for. I always tell you about the remotes with the screens on them, Apple remotes that are different than your typical ones, like the ones for fans, refrigerators, car stereos, air conditioning units. If you see remotes like this that have that huge color in the back, like that big blue block of color, check them out. Run the comps, see what's going on. Because usually when they look unique like this, they are unique and they're going to fetch you a good price. $20 for a remote is pretty high-end bread and butter. And if you're paying a quarter or 50 cents, they ship first class. They're very lightweight. So when you dig through, keep your eyes out for all of those things I've said. And then this one I want to show you, it's a peak, but it looks like a fire stick. So you might overlook this. You might see this when you're digging around and be like, wow, that looks like a fire stick, and just like overlook it and pass it over. But don't, because it's a good remote. It sold for $20. So keep your eyes out for those as well. And then I wanted to show you this Mega Man empty case. Don't overlook the empty cases. Some of the vintage games, the cases by themselves with no game, but the manuals can go for good money. You can see that this sold for $40, and it's just the case and the manual. Longtime viewers may remember several years ago when Keith and I had sold off a ton of old Pokemon boxes and empty cases for big money. So if you ever are out thrifting and you find an empty case, check it out. See if it's one of those that's worth money. But make sure you comp it. Don't bring home every empty case you find, because most of them are trash. But some of the vintage ones, especially like these Capcom, can go for a lot of money. Collectors will find the game at a good price online, and they only get the game by itself. So now they need the case. Or their case cracks, or the cardboard rips, or what have you. The manual gets torn. They look to replace it, and they will pay good money for it. Do your research, know which ones are worth it, and don't overlook those cases of games when you're out thrifting, even if they're empty inside. Double check. All right, guys, go be productive. Go make some money. Make sure that you're cross-posting, and don't forget to like our channel and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, y'all are the best. Bye.